Good evening. Good evening. How is everybody? How is life in lockdown? I'm tossing this little blue ball as my nervous habit tonight. I usually keep the nervous habits below the camera level. I say I've got all these pool balls, little mini pool balls at the pool table, and all these little trinkets that I mess with, but usually you can't see it. Anyway, welcome to American Hammers TV, part of the American Hammers Network. I hope you're all doing well in your respective prison cells this evening. I can't really say that I'm too unhappy. I've been a pretty good situation to be at home, but sure do miss West Ham and watching the matches with Tim and Ken and doing all that stuff. So tonight we have with us once again, coming back this week, he's a glutton for punishment, Rob. Originally from Brooklyn, he told me just earlier, and now lives in Hawaii, but is quarantined in training with the Navy in San Diego. Probably the best quarantine situation I can imagine, San Diego.
It's not too bad.
But
they're talking about extending it to like end of July now.
Mm-hmm.
Extending what?
That on the news.
Quarantine.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't really surprise me. I don't want to talk about this stuff too much, but
This is a home cooked meal. This hotel living's not that great.
well, you got your wife and it's son or daughter, Rob? I can't remember.
Son.
Son,
Yeah, they're both in Hawaii still.
your wife and son are in Hawaii, so you need to see them. So yeah, you need to get there. Anyway, there's Rob is in San Diego. Wayne, of course, in Dallas.
Yeah, quarantined in good old McKinney, North Dallas.
Quarantined in McKinney, about an hour from where I grew up. Yeah. McKinney, one of those swanky towns up north.
Yes, swanky, right. As my friends like to call it, it's next to Oklahoma.
Well, it is dangerously close to Oklahoma, which you got to watch out
drive away from Oklahoma.
Yeah, you got to watch out for that because it gets weird. But I'm from south of Dallas. I'm from the other side of the tracks. Although it's actually my hometown now. It's very nice, but it wasn't when I was growing up. No way. And Josh, are you in Kansas City at the moment?
About an hour out.
Okay.
I'm by Lawrence, Kansas, which is where University of Kansas is.
Absolutely. My brother-in-law went to the University of Kansas. I've been
Is that
to
the
Lawrence.
Jayhawks?
Yes.
Yeah. I've been to Lawrence. It's a nice town, actually. My wife is from Manhattan, which is where Kansas State is. Yeah. So she went to junior high and high school in Manhattan, and her dad is from Kansas City, Kansas. So we have Kansas people in the family, definitely. And of course you are very not Oklahoma, and you are very close to the home of the last major sports franchise I can think of to win anything, which is the Kansas City Chiefs. So I hope you can live off of that for a while, because I don't think we're getting anything else for quite a while.
Maybe
Anyway,
the last ever Super Bowl champs. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the last Super Bowl ever played. Who knows?
I don't know. Dan Hunt seems to think that they're going to go back and win it again. I'm real good friends with Dan Hunt because of his ownership of FC Dallas, and but he seems to think that they're going to go back and win it again.
I could see it. We brought back a lot of starters.
I think they could. Yeah. Now the Hunt family were all from Dallas. My dad knew the Hunt family. Not, he did some business with them, and he visited their home a couple of times. He was an art lecturer later in life, and he would lecture about fine art. He visited and lectured in Carolyn Rose Hunt's home, so we knew the Hunt family a little bit. And of course, the Kansas City Chiefs started life as the Dallas Texans in 1960. So my dad was a big Dallas Texans fan years ago, so we have a little connection there. But anyway, I should mention before we all get started, if you want to appear on the show, let us know. Go to our Twitter, our Facebook, AmericanHammers.net, and let us know. Also, as far as I know, our merchandise is still for sale on AmericanHammers.net, so take a look at what we have. The West Ham Megastore is shut down for the duration of the pandemic, but I think you can still get some poor warehouse worker to risk his life and go pull you a T-shirt or a fanny pack or something.
I think a lot of it depends, Lee, on whether they actually go back and they get a little bit of this TV contract or not. They might be paying those warehousemen danger money to go pay the rent.
That's true. Well, but if it comes from our warehouse, it's got nothing to do with West Ham. That's the thing. It's like because when you order something from our store, somebody produces it and then ships it. And maybe that happens in somebody's house, but I kind of doubt
actually, there's a big warehouse up in Long Island City, and just over in Queens.
Is there really?
Yep.
That was I think. Wasn't that Archie Bunker's neighborhood, or did he live in Astoria? I don't remember.
I think he was in Astoria, Queens.
I think he was in Astoria. Yeah, I think you're right. Anyway, so yeah, check out our shop if you're, hey, listen, I just got my stimulus check. I am super stimulated. All right. I got my stimulus check today. I did my taxes 2 days ago, and I'm getting a refund in my stimulus check. So I think we should all spend our stimulus money in the AmericanHammers.net store, because there's nothing else you're going to need to do with it. You should just spend it right
to England
there.
before the country dissipates.
No, spend it in our store. That's what you should do, and support our supporters groups and everything else. Anyway, there's a lot of people in the chat room already. Do we have any lockdown themed t-shirts yet? Not yet. I mean, if you think about it, I'm not sure what the point is, because you can't wear them anywhere.
I've got one.
Do you?
I've got one. It's for West Ham is why we drink. It's the Crossed Arms pub, but basically it's our online pub that we have in Dallas.
That's pretty good.
We meet every Friday night from about 8 o'clock until basically we run out of alcohol, and do that online on. We've tried it on Facebook, that didn't work, and then we tried it on Zoom, and that seemed to work better. And but we've got a T-shirt for that. So if you're interested, go check out West Ham is why we drink. Sorry, don't please, Tim. Don't.
He's fuming. He's fuming.
It'll be like one T-shirt. That's it.
You know what? Wayne also thinks James Tompkins sucks. James sucks.
I think James Collins is brilliant. I think Tompkins just had his day.
I don't know why I said Collins. I've totally lost my mind. Dude, it's not helping.
I can see the steam going off his brow right now.
Dude, I can see him. He's gonna come in here. He's gonna come into the StreamYard. You know what's gonna happen? He's gonna come in and throw you out.
This is gonna be great therapy tonight.
That's what he's gonna do. Yeah, everybody's like, I see Rebecca's in the chat room, and Wally, and I think Tebow and Foe and Kieran, whose name I'm pretty sure I'm now pronouncing correctly. Charlie, who always wants Jordan Hugo back.
Bring back Big George.
Yeah, Big George. We gotta get Big.
I'll represent Charlie. Don't worry.
We don't need Jordan Hugo back. Do you know why? Do you know why we don't need him back? Do you know why? Because Arnautovic is coming home, baby. Arnie's coming home. Arnie's coming home.
No, he's into the younger players. Arnautovic is what, 37, 38, 39, 40?
Arnautovic is what we need. If Arnautovic comes back to West Ham, the pandemic will end. The pandemic will end. We'll win every match remaining this season, and then we'll win every match next season, and we'll win the Premier League for the first time ever.
I'd rather have the snake back.
Payet?
Well, I mean,
yeah. I'd rather have it back too.
Hey, all Payet was guilty of was dipping his wick somewhere he shouldn't have, right? Supposedly.
As far
allegedly.
as we know.
I don't want to get sued, please.
Right. As far as we know.
As far as we know, that's all he was guilty of. And basically his missus said, "You're getting out of that club because there's too much Eastern bits of stuff that are running after you." So, but Arnautovic was just a greedy fucker.
Listen, I don't care.
Greedy, moody fucker. With a shit for a brother.
The dude kept us up when Moyes had to come in and replace Slav.
He didn't score in January, did he?
He scored plenty. He kept us up that season.
Gave up half. He just sat in the box the whole time and didn't do squat.
When he played for Moyes, he scored. Wayne. When he played for
scored,
Moyes
at the beginning, when he played for Moyes, he scored. He did.
That was all he ever played for Moyes. Then they brought in Pellegrini.
He was looking for more money elsewhere.
Then they brought in Pellegrini. No,
he did the same to us that he did to Stoke.
So for those who don't know, he said today on Arthur Masuaku's, what were they on? On Instagram or something?
Instagram, yeah.
Instagram stream.
So he said on Instagram.
If you go to that feed, you'll see, if they do a replay of it, you'll see my note in it that says, "Fuck off, stay there, we don't fucking want you."
Wayne, you don't have the best interest of the club at heart, my friend.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, I would take. Listen, have you watched? I think you've watched West Ham in a month. I know that nobody has, but have you?
All I've done is watch old games. Yeah.
Did you watch us before? Did you watch us before the worldwide conspiracy shut us down? We were awful, dreadful. Okay, you know what? Let's go around because we and I are doing the talking. So Arnautovic says today on Masuaku's Instagram that he would love to come back to West Ham. Rob, do you take him back or you're not taking him back?
Depends on how much he wants in contract. Like, I'd take him back, but only for the amount of money. You know, I'm 22 for him. Hell no. You stay where the hell you are.
That's a fair answer. I mean, it would depend on a lot. I mean, first of all, I think it's highly unlikely to happen. But you know what? David Moyes liked him. He played well for him. I mean, so let me put it this way. Let's say that the number is, reasonable. And I don't know what that would mean, but it's not an exorbitant amount of money. Do you take it back?
I'll vote for a number. If you put a number on it, I'll vote on it.
I don't know what the number would even be. I mean, I'm not sure, But what I'm saying is, do you absolutely reject him, Rob, or would you take him back under some circumstances?
Oh, I'd take him back under certain circumstances. Again, pay is the big issue for me. I'm like, I wouldn't pay too much for him, but I'd take him back.
Yeah, I don't know how much we'd even have to pay. I mean, coming back from China.
What has he got? 21 goals from us?
Something like that. I mean, he again. He and Moyes were a match. They did well together. Josh, what's your take?
I think if the number is right, I say we bring him back. Arnautovic is like Antonio, except he can finish. So I would love to see him and Haller up top in a 4-4-2. That would be lethal. The center back partnerships in the Prem, they would run for their lives if it was Arnautovic and Haller up top. That's a lot.
I think Arnautovic and Haller up top. I think if you played Antonio on the right, if you could get Felipe into form and play him on the left, I think that's a very strong attacking lineup.
Yeah.
Whereas you'd probably have maybe you could work Fornals in there. You could work like Souček and Fornals into the middle, or you could have Bowen, in for one of the two strikers if they're not fit or if they're not in form or whatever. I mean, I think you'd have depth and you'd have firepower, and those are things that we never ever have, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing I know he left under terrible circumstances. I know he didn't have a particularly good attitude.
Go on, Lee.
He built a whole new. Look at this. What is this? What is this? He's built a whole new thing.
Just did it. That's just how much I don't want the man.
I will say that
unless he's on a pay to play and he plays in the under 23s, no contract. He gets 10 grand. He gets 10 grand a match, and until the season is played out.
Here we go.
Season is played out.
Charlie's going to bring
the under 23s.
Charlie's bringing you facts. On one of only 4 strikers who scored 10 or more goals in consecutive seasons.
Let's bring another fact. He fucked us over twice within a year. Fact number 1. Let's bring you another fact. His brother did nothing but cause trouble and dissent within the team or within the club, because all he did was spread rumors about my brother wants this, my brother wants that. Well, let's have another fact. He waved goodbye before the deal was even penned. Okay.
Can he score goals?
Let's have another fact.
Can he score goals,
Wayne? We gave him a pay raise to keep him, and that didn't work. Oh, let's have another fact. Fact number 5. Fact number 5. 10 minutes after we get the most embarrassing defeat against Wimbledon, he goes online with, "I'm back, everybody. I'm back." Fuck him. He can shove it up his papa and blow it out to the Sound of Music and all that other Austrian crap.
Can he? Hey, Wayne, can he score goals? Because
I
really don't
I'm
care.
Just saying that some people are not worth the aggravation. I don't
really.
I
think anybody who can score goals for us is worth the aggravation.
I think that we could pick up other people out there that can score goals that are more suited. And I think he's not worth the aggravation.
We have not done that.
Noble would agree with me.
We have not done that since he left. All right. I'm sorry, we haven't done that since he left. Maybe Bowen, but it's too soon to say. I do have faith that Bowen's a good player.
Bowen will. Bowen is
an
Arnautovic. He's got more hunger than an Arnautovic. He's got more class than an Arnautovic. He speaks English, and everyone that's in the East End will know how important that bloody well is. Okay, you could probably take him down the road to get him pie mash and some jelly deals. He might actually eat it. Arnautovic, no, not unless it was on a fucking gold-plated dish, served with a silver spoon shoved up his arsehole.
And if he wants to eat it that way and he scores 10 goals for us, that's fine with me. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Wayne, I can't.
Don't like the man. He got me banned from Twitter. I
don't like most of our players, Wayne. I mean, a lot of our players I kind of don't like, but if they're good enough, I don't care. You know,
there's allowed this shoddy attitude.
Well, yeah, of course he does, but he's a good player.
When I spoke to Billy Bonds the other week, there you go, rumor number one. When I spoke to Billy Bonds the other week, he said, of all the people that have played for West Ham and that could score goals, the only one I would never have back is Marko Arnautovic.
Okay. Let's. I'll tell you what. This is a pretty good debate. But let's keep it going. And here's what I want to do, if you don't mind. Hammer's chat started a pretty good thread on Twitter today of unpopular West Ham opinions.
I saw that.
And I dropped a couple in there, and I don't know if you did one, or if anybody else did. I want everybody, if you would please, to give me, and about anything, doesn't matter what it is, an unpopular, against the grain, hot take on West Ham. Josh, what do you have? Do you have anything for us?
So I haven't been to a game there, but I don't think the Olympic Stadium is that bad. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna hold my hands up.
You're not the only one to say that, and I will say, I've always thought, and speaking as somebody who has not been to the Olympic Stadium, all right, I did go to the Berlin once. You all know that, but we all understand that I'm not over there going to games all the time, all right. So I don't want to speak out of turn, in comparison to those who are. But I still believe if we were a top 6 team, nobody would complain about the Olympic Stadium.
Yep.
They might not love it, but they wouldn't complain about it.
No, yeah, I think you're right. I think that if the success had come with the move, it was the promise that wasn't kept, which is why people don't like the stadium.
Because they overpromised and underdelivered, and if they had overpromised, if they had kept their promise, if they had really moved us to this mythical next level, if we were top 6, top 8 in contention for Europe, going, making runs in Europa League, that sort of thing, I don't think anybody complained about the stadium. I think they'd say it's what we had to do and look at the results. The problem is we're in the relegation zone in this weird suspended animation, and there's no reason why we should be there. So I actually agree with you, although I'm sure a lot of people who go to all the games will say you don't know what you're talking about, and that's fair. I'm okay with that. But I still say if Payet had stayed and we had stayed in the top, we'd been contenders for top 6, which we would have undoubtedly been in our first season in that stadium if he had stayed and not left the way he did. I don't think anybody cared. I really don't. Anyway, Rob, what do you think? What's your unpopular take?
I was trying to think of something. I was going to say, Gold, Sullivan, and Brady should stay, but it's just a big fucking joke.
Somebody tried that on Twitter, and everybody was like, "Nah, you can't." Everybody knows.
No one's opinion.
I mean, is there anything? Well, let me say this: the owners have done the right thing, paying our staff during this shutdown. They've done the right thing. So
I agree. It's the only real good thing they've been doing. So,
it's probably the only
doesn't change the rest of the promises and that they couldn't keep. Like, granted, I still think the movement is going to continue on even after everyone can start protesting again. Be out there protesting.
Yeah, I think it will too. I think it's just we're just frozen in time right now. We're like Han Solo in that. What was that stuff they froze him in?
In the Carbonite.
In the Carbonite, yeah. Oh man, I saw that movie in the theater when I was. Empire Strikes Back was like 1981. I would have been 7, and it terrified me when they froze him in the Carbonite at the end. I had nightmares about that.
It was scary.
Well, I was 7, and I don't know how long. I had nightmares about that for like weeks, that somebody was going to freeze me in Carbonite.
Yeah, but how long you been married now, Lee?
The second time?
Yeah.
The second time, let me see now. It's been it's been 12 years. 12 years.
See that's not you did it longer than Han Solo was frozen in Carbonite, and that's much more painful.
The second one has been great. The first one was 11 years, and that was I would have taken some carbonite by the end. I'd have been like, just lock me up. It's better off this way. Yeah, so I get it. I get what you're saying. Anyway, I don't know why I started talking about that. But yeah, I think Rob, I think you're right. I think the protests will start right back up because what's going to happen is whether we continue this season or not, and it seems very unlikely at this point.
Oh, there's still talks. Oh, all the crap news I keep getting. That's like the season will end by the 30th of June. And,
well, they'll have to make a decision this week.
Yeah,
that's the case.
Well, is it this week?
Well, I mean, look, they're talking about 3 to 4 weeks to possibly train so they could get back to playing, and they're talking about a condensed schedule, right? A couple games, 2 to 3 games a week,
right? So
that they can fit these final games in by June 30th.
And are they going to do the thing where they're going to be like in Birmingham or somewhere in the Midlands, and they're going to stay in a hotel and they're going to play all the same ground?
I don't see any other way that they'd be able to do it, to be quite frank. I mean, because you've got all that travel time and everything, plus then you run the risk of people. You need to keep the players somewhere, like a tournament. You have to keep them locked up somewhere, quite frankly, quarantined.
Well, that's what Dr. Fauci said. If you guys have been paying attention to Dr. Fauci, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Oh, Tony, I was going to say that, you wanker. Oh, bollocks! I hate you,
Sanchez.
Tony.
We should also. I'll tell you what. We should bring back Savio and Pablo Barrera, and Harvard Nordtveit, and some of the really great luminaries of the past to play alongside Sanchez. Because that would be that's just what we need. No, I think the only way they keep it. Now if you listen to Dr. Fauci, who's our expert here in the U.S. on the virus and so forth, he says if you want to have sports back, you've got to have all the athletes quarantined in a hotel, no fans at the stadium, everybody staying in the same place and doing exactly what the Premier League said, wanted to do. Actually, 100%. I just think it's a crap model. I think it's terrible. There's no home field advantage. There's no fan. There's no reason to do it. To me, there's no reason to do it. Just so Liverpool can have their trophy. Give them the trophy. I don't care. Give it to them.
Here's your choice, then, Leo. How about if they say, okay, the coronavirus is so rampant everywhere that we don't think we're going to be able to play in September either. Unless
I think it's possible. Yeah.
Okay. So then what is worse, having a crap atmosphere with no fans watching in the stadium, or being able to at least sit at home? I mean, I would be miserable because I wouldn't be able to go into the pub with my mates and watch it in the pub. And even if I could, to be quite frank, until there's a vaccine for this, I'm 56 years of age. I have a heart condition. I wouldn't go in the pub. I mean, I wouldn't
either.
Wouldn't. So, as much as I love the team, I wouldn't put myself at risk for a sport. And I think Cresswell said it best.
He did.
Your family and your life is much more important than a round ball on a pitch.
Yeah. I don't think that. I think a lot of the players wouldn't play because they have families. They don't listen. Mm-hmm. This is also a very vicious disease. It can leave permanent damage. A lot of people get over it and they're fine. A lot of people don't. They have trouble breathing for the rest of their lives, or they have trouble. I read an account from a former marathoner, who said he can't even take a long walk now. He gets winded. I mean, it can mess you up, right? Even if you're a young, healthy athlete. That's what I'm saying. I think a lot of them wouldn't want to do it. I'll give you a very unpopular opinion. I would still not watch a game with no fans. I'm sorry, I wouldn't do it. I just don't think there's any point. I think everybody else would, and I'll be the one who wouldn't. But there's no point.
I would, but I'd be pissed off about it. But thinking about the condensed schedule and what they're trying to do, the 3 to 4 weeks, are the players going to be in top shape at that point? Because you got to think they'd be more prone to injury, and then with a condensed schedule of 3 matches a week, that's a toll on the body. That'd be so many injuries, and we're already injury prone enough. Let's not change.
Oh, no kidding. We wouldn't even be able to field 11 players. We wouldn't put 11 players on the pitch.
Isn't the one thing, I mean, you got to take 2 things into mind, okay? For a start, it's not like just a clean break where everybody went on holiday. Everybody went away with a workout routine that they were supposed to keep up on, okay? So if they come back, they shouldn't really be that far behind. They've been working out, okay? Supposedly working out.
Yeah.
Then when they come back, then you find out who really wants to play for the club or not. Because if they come back and they're playing like shit, like they're unfit, then you're like, you know what? You had your opportunity. We told you what we needed you to do. Felipe Anderson, get the hell out of our club.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Listen, I mean, for me right now, I have trouble with the whole idea of, why do the games matter to me? And they do matter to me. But I guess what I'm trying to say in a roundabout way is, if there are no fans, it's like a workout. It's basically a bunch of guys playing pickup, and I don't really care about watching that. I know that sounds crazy because it's not as though you see the fans that much when you watch a game. You don't hear them that much in the Olympic Stadium, but they're there, and you know that there's an atmosphere of some sort, and you know that it's a proper match. When you're playing behind closed doors, it's like, again, it might as well be training. It just doesn't mean anything. And how could you? I mean, honestly, think about this. If we go down, or whoever goes down, somebody's got to go down at the end of the season. If you're Villa, Norwich, West Ham, who's down there with us, Brighton, I can't remember who else. Watford, yeah, I mean, the three that go down, how on earth are they going to accept being relegated when they had no home games in the last 9 or 10 games of the season, when there were no fans anywhere, when they played 3 games a week? I mean, that's crazy to me, that you would lose your status in the Premier League and maybe never get it back because you had to play this weird, unprecedented, bizarre schedule.
League, the 3 teams that are down the bottom there right now deserve to go down. So if it's them that go down,
I don't know that they do.
Sorry, up to this
point,
point,
they do.
They deserve
I'm not sure that's true.
If we go down, I'm sorry, but the way we played this season, we deserve to go down.
Well, I agree with that. I think we've been bad this season.
As much as I would hate it with a passion, I believe we would deserve to go down. So
there are
if they
9.
do play the condensed schedule, I think I am suffering. I can't watch another replay, another Thursday throwback game. I can't. I mean, it's depressing. It's depressing.
It is depressing. Oh, I agree.
Although I did get, it was nice watching the match last week with DiCanio having an argument with Lampard. That was fun. So, but other than that, it's. I want a competitive game back that means something. To me, it doesn't make any difference whether pipe the sounds in over the loudspeaker system. I don't give a crap. Get something there like the old comedy shows from the 1970s and 80s, well, even these days, some of them have a laugh track and just turn the sound up. And just do that. Okay, to give it a little bit of atmosphere for the TV.
Would work for most of our games, I have to say. A laugh track for West Ham seems very appropriate.
Oh yeah.
No, Josh, would you watch? I mean, what do you think?
I mean, I'd watch just because I'm a fan of the team, and it'd be way nicer than watching these replays and knowing what the score is going to be and who scores and when it happens. That's just something I miss, is the overall excitement and sort
the
of
unknown.
Yeah, the unknown of it. That's a big part.
I totally agree. Yeah. What about this idea of I mean, you could go down and lose your spot in the Premier League and maybe never come back because you had to do this, 3 matches a week in an empty stadium in Birmingham while your players are quarantined. Is that fair?
I was going to say that today the Scottish League relegated Patrick Thistle, who were in the relegation zone.
Oh, did they just say like
Patrick Thistle was the guy that tended bar down at the King's Head?
I think it's Patrick Thistle, but
Partick Thistle.
That's okay.
Sorry about that. They relegated
that. Triple. Nobody cares.
And, but they had a game in hand, and if they had won that game in hand, they would have been out of the relegation zone. So I feel like we have to find a happy medium between what the Scottish League did, but also what, going back and having these players play in like 3 games in a week in the stadium in Birmingham. There's got to be that medium, I think. And if that means just like call the season as it is, then, or something like that, I don't know.
Did you guys hear the one thing that they said about they would work out some equation where they give you an average goal per game?
No.
That I do not agree with.
That sounds terrible. Like the cricket.
That sounds horrendous. Could you imagine going down because you were below Aston Villa by 0.25?
No, that doesn't make sense.
No, that is the one thing I will not go for.
No, I can't have some.
If they want to end the season and say, okay, we're going to end the season Nobody's going to get relegated. We're going to promote 2, and we're going to have 4 people get promoted, get relegated the next 2 years. I'm fine with that. At the end of the season, and say, okay, the final 3 go down, and the top 3 from the championship go up. Even if it's us, I'm pissed, but I'm accepting it. Okay. If they end the season and say we're going to play these games, we're going to force them in, and it's tough, and we have to play in front of like no crowds, but we get the season finished, I'm fine with that. But taking an aggregate score, or an average score rather, from all of the games you've played and saying this is how many goals you've scored for and how many goals you scored against, and taking that difference on that average, which is what I heard that somebody was talking about.
100% against that. 100%
I'm
against
dead
it.
against that. Dead against that.
I mean, Rob, you're shaking your head. You got to be against it. I cannot have football turn into baseball where all these math nerds rule everything, and everything's about sabermetrics, and I don't want that. And that's diabolical. What you're talking about there, something about goal average or differential. I mean, that's terrible. It shouldn't be decided by math.
That's one of the things that's great about football. Is baseball, American football it's a matter of like measurements, and this team averages in this type of situation 2.6 yards. It's not like that in football, because it's like saying if you spin a roulette ball around the roulette wheel, that 50% of the time it's going to land on red and 50% of the time it's going to land on a black number because of accumulative odds. It's got nothing to do with accumulative odds. Each spin, it's 36 or 37 or 38 to 1, depending on whether it's a single zero or a double zero.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with football. It depends on which way the wind's blowing, who's taking the ball, whether there was a divot in the grass from a tackle. It depends on so many different things that you can't look at it. And at least I don't like looking at it that way. You can look at it that way if you want to. I know a lot of people do, and they enjoy that. And good luck to them. But to me, it's all about it's the beautiful game for a reason, and it's the beautiful game because it's so wonderful and it's so damn frustrating.
Which is another reason. I agree with you 100%. Which is another reason why I'm against finishing the season in empty stadiums with players in a hotel in Birmingham. It's too artificial. It doesn't make any sense. I'd rather either see the season voided, or frankly just say, sorry, Villa, I know you have a game in hand, but bad luck. I don't know.
I would about keeping the no regulation, bringing the other 3 teams up, and then cutting more teams out season after season, which would be.
I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. Yeah, the whole plan of saying we have 22 teams in the Premiership next season, we bring Leeds and West Brom up. I mean, I know they weren't guaranteed promotion, but I mean, they were solidly first and second when everything stopped. I say bring them up. Don't relegate anybody, because that's almost too big of a penalty. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You could be Coventry, you could be Sunderland, you could never make it back.
Really change the squad for the like. You're gonna punish them for not being able to finish them.
Yeah, that's the other thing is it could wreck a football club, especially now in precarious financial times. It could absolutely wreck a football club. Portsmouth. I mean, you can go right on the list of clubs that went down and never came back up.
Harry Redknapp wrecked Portsmouth, unfortunately.
Well, that's true. But I mean,
I love him, but he did.
But the point is, Coventry were in the top flight for something like 35 years running, and then when they went down, they've never come back. So there's a lot of examples like that, and I think it's too harsh a penalty to say we didn't finish the last 9 games or 10 games in Villa's case. That's a big chunk. That's a quarter of the season. We didn't finish the last 9 games, so but you're going down anyway.
Yeah,
I think it's too much. But bring up the top 2 from the championship. Sure, yeah, do it. 24 in the Premiership.
I think what we should do, I'm referring back to your original question, which was pick an unpopular subject.
Yes.
I think what they should do is they should forget about playing football. I think it should be a game of Russian roulette, and we give the gun to Karen Brady.
Wait, we give the gun to Karen Brady. Does she shoot David Sullivan with it first?
I don't care. They'll shoot David Sullivan. Who cares? Maybe he could stand behind her and she could oops, and shoot him by accident. Who knows? So.
I'll tell you what I think what the only thing that could have happen is if you do void the season, what I would love to see, and I know this doesn't make any sense, I'd love to, if the season is voided, I'd love to see the players still get credit for the goals they scored and all the things they did. Because if you void the season, it's not the end of the world for us, obviously, as we stay up. But you would officially lose like David Martin's win at Chelsea. His clean sheet at Chelsea. And that was a tremendous. Do what?
I don't think they can void the season. I mean, you can't say it hasn't been played when it's been played. I mean, I think it goes ahead with the season just has a whacking great big asterisk on it, and it's just that season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you gotta take. I really think the plan of saying keep the clubs in the Premiership, bring Leeds and West Brom up. Congratulations to them. They had a good enough season. They were sorry Fulham, but they were there when it all ended. Don't punish anybody too harshly by sending anybody down with 9 games left. Bring them up. 22 in the top flight. There used to be 24 in the top flight. Before the Premiership, and there was 24 in every other league going down the list. So why not bring up 4 clubs? Bring up Fulham and whoever else is out there. Bring up Millwall.
Yeah.
I like them being down there.
Just for the excitement of it. I think you have to do it that way. And give Liverpool the trophy. Fine. I don't care. That's fine. Let them
Nobody
have it.
was going to catch up with them.
Nobody was going to catch them. I know it's possible, but it was not really possible. Give them the trophy, and then every ground they go to after that, everybody has an asterisk on a flag or something.
Yeah.
And it'll still be delicious to be able to say, well, you were sort of champions, sort of. It's fine.
Just give them the crown off the top of that Premier League trophy. Don't give them the whole trophy. Just say, you get the crown.
Well,
imagine if we just gave him that. Man, but like, yeah, you won.
I'd love it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, already they don't get to parade the trophy around their ground in front of their fans, right? At least not anytime soon. They don't get to have an open top bus probably within 6 months of winning it. I mean, all the stuff, all the trappings of being champions, they're not going to get any of them. All they're going to get is basically, their name on a list of Premier League champions. All the stuff you get with it, it's not going to happen.
Liverpool and Liverpool fans. I mean, I don't like playing them, but I mean, I don't have any dislike for Liverpool fans. I sort of consider them almost like the West Ham of the North, so to speak, because they're a working class team. They're right. a Docklands team basically.
Yeah.
And they're I'm sure that even if they said you won't be able to parade the trophy around until 2021, that city would go apeshit over it.
Yeah. I know they would.
Because they would go even more over the top because they waited so long to parade it.
And you know what? Good for them. Let them enjoy it. I'm with you. I don't hate their fans. I've known a lot of Liverpool supporters. Some actually from Liverpool, not very many, but a few. But you know what? They're good fans. They're good people. I've never had a problem with them at all. And I'm with you. Give it to them when it's safe to give it to them. They earned it, as far as I'm concerned. I just wouldn't relegate anybody because I think that's too harsh a punishment when there was so much in play when those last 4 or 5 clubs down at the bottom. But I'll give you another unpopular take if you want to move away from the virus stuff. Players who leave the club, most players who leave the club, I don't see them as villains. And I'm talking about like Paul Ince, I'm talking about Frank Lampard, I'm talking about Jermaine Defoe, I'm talking about the people everybody hates. I'm talking about Scott Parker. I don't see them as villains. I see them as people who make.
As a villain.
Do what?
I see Paul Ince as a villain
because he wore the shirt before the transfer.
Yeah, I mean, come on, that's out of order. That's just thumbing your nose at the fans.
You know the story though, right?
Yeah, I know the story, and I've also heard his apology afterwards that he goes, if I could go back and do it again, I wouldn't have done that. Bollocks, you did it. You can't turn back time. Your name isn't Cher. You can't do that.
But a lot of I know. I guess every club does this to some extent. But look, Carlos Tevez is a big hero at West Ham because he kept us up one season, and then immediately he left for a bigger club. But he's our big hero, right? But then you have somebody like Frank Lampard, whose father I think still holds the record for number of appearances with West Ham, if I'm not mistaken, or at least he's in the top 5. Lampard, who the fans slagged him off. The club sacked his dad. The club sacked his uncle, and when he left, he very rightly gave us I don't blame him for that at all.
No, I don't blame Lampard for that. I mean, I didn't like him when he played for us anyway. So I don't blame him.
Nobody did.
I'm glad he went to Chelsea. I didn't give a shit. I always felt like it was a little. I thought he was incredibly talented, but I think it was a little bit too much nepotism going on there. So, but
you can't be serious when you say that. I mean, look at the player he turned into.
Instant Defoe, I cannot stand. I mean, Defoe because he went to Tottenham for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's the way he went to Tottenham, like, oh no, I'm not going, and the next day he's fucking gone. Okay,
you know what, though?
And he went to Tottenham. Now, Scotty Parker, I won't. You know, it's funny that sometimes there are some players that you can forgive because of what they've done for the team and because of the way they react with the fans. Like let's take for example, let's look at what's the Spanish kid that we picked up this year, and I can't think of his name now for the life of me. Fornals, yeah. He hasn't been brilliant, but we all seem to love him. He's been good, but he hasn't been phenomenal. But we all seem to people have taken a liking to him. And I think that's what happened with Parker. People just liked Parker. They liked the way he played his no-nonsense football.
He played with passion.
They liked the Parker 360. That's what they liked. Defoe was a nasty arsehole when he played for us. And he was a nasty arsehole when he left. So Paul Ince was just, I'm sorry, see you next Tuesday. That's what Paul Ince was.
I think all these guys... and listen, if you step back,
was an Ahtv.
If you step back and look at it objectively, all right, I have absolutely lied to my bosses about not leaving a job and then left the next day. I've totally done that because you have to. You have to do that because you know how it is. You can't walk out unless you know you have a sure thing ahead of you, unless you have your offer letter. So yeah, you have to pretend. You have to lie. I don't like lying. It's not something I enjoy doing. Something I try not to do in life in general.
Here's the difference, Lee. Okay, when you walked out that job, there weren't 40,000 people that were going, "Oh God!" But I just got Lee's name on the back of my shirt.
That's what you think. That's what you think. Are you sure about that? Sure?
There's a difference.
I was disappointedly.
Josh was shocked. I know that. Listen.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I understand what you're saying, Wayne. But you know what? Ultimately, these guys they're workers like everybody else. They're just high. They're just well, right. But they're just well paid. Do you know what I mean? But they're workers like everybody else, and they're
still no snowflake. Honestly, come on, that's my job.
It's not snowflake. No, I'm the one who's being hardcore. You guys are the snowflakes. You'll be like, oh, he went to Tottenham.
Yeah,
he went to
like I wouldn't say anything either if I was transferring from West Ham to Tottenham. Are you kidding me? Like,
no, of course you wouldn't.
That announcement. You stabbed outside the stadium right away.
If you went to
we need Tim in here right now. Tim will give you his opinion on what players would go to Tottenham.
I know. No, I'm just saying if a bigger, and let's just be perfectly honest, all right? Let's just throw aside all the bullshit and be perfectly honest. A bigger club, a more successful club, a better run club comes to you and says, we will pay you more money and you have a chance to play in Europa League or Champions League or whatever. Of course you go. Of course you do.
I mean, how you go.
I agree with that. The way Payet left, the way Arnautovic left, not good. I agree with that. I would still take both of them back.
Terrible.
Well, that's fair. I'd still take both of them back. I think how you leave makes a difference.
Yeah.
But the fact that you leave, it's just.
I mean, that's the game. Decision. It's the game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the important thing is, and what we seem to have major problems with this last year, is the players that have come to us, not the ones that are leaving. It's the players that have come to us that don't give 100% on the pitch. And I'm talking about Felipe Anderson. I mean, that first year, he seemed to be doing something for us, and then this year, what's the idea with backing out of tackles all the time?
Anderson and quite frankly, Aller, I don't care how much service he does or doesn't get. Aller spends a lot of time. I know he wins aerial duels, but listen, watch him play. He mopes around. He walks. He doesn't make runs. He's supposed to be, in some cases, our only striker.
£45 million player. He's supposed to score more than 7 starting goals.
Exactly. He's supposed to be better. He's supposed to work harder. He's not good enough, and he hasn't. He's looked like a guy all season long who's just been waiting for us to go down so we can get sold somewhere else.
I feel like we're missing our heart, and we have for a long time. Like, anytime we go to the second half of the match, I'm like, here it goes.
Yeah.
And our heart was named Dimitri Payet. It was. It's never
like,
been the same. It's never been the same. It just hasn't.
An ideal way to leave a club? Is it just like, see ya and you're gone? I think that I think that there's something to be said about if a club blocks a move like to a Manchester United to play in the Champions League, then there's a little bit of the club being at fault.
Yeah, no, I do too. I mean, I think you're right about that. I think it's. I mean, the ideal way to leave a club is to do what Carlos Tevez did.
Are you, Charlie?
That's right. The ideal way to leave a club is to do what Carlos Tevez did. Score like 7 goals in 10 games, keep the club up after relegation looked absolutely certain, and then sail off to Manchester United basically saying, like, I always knew I was too good for you. So this was inevitable,
Right.
But here I go.
Right.
And for the rest of our lives, we're like, Tevez is a hammer.
Yeah.
Not really.
I mean, yeah. I just think that if a player wants to go and then they ask nicely, they ask a couple times saying, I want to leave, they shouldn't be at fault for that.
No,
I
they
think
shouldn't.
that if the club says you can't leave and then the player is forced to do something else, then there might be there might be the player at fault, the club's at fault. It's really just, we don't know what goes behind, what goes in dealing.
No.
Payet and Ince and Arnautovic are obvious. They're standouts when it comes to what happened. But I think that there are other times, and I think that's what Lee is saying, is that if a player wants to leave, then they can. And I don't think that we should have much of a problem with it.
So
I can't believe anybody comes to West Ham to begin with.
Well,
what about this
contract and all that? Them saying, "Oh no, I'm done." Like, hey, you're in contract, and then of course they're going to take it out in other ways, like not putting their heart into the game, not doing this, so they do get benched, so they can go to the other clubs. That's what happens for 90% of it is that way, and they're looking for that.
You see that in every sport. You see that here in the U.S. You see it in college sports a lot with coaches, college football, college basketball coaches who, they want out, and they lie to the fans. Oh, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I'm the coach of so and so and so and so. And then the next day they're gone. All the time it happens. It's business. It's the nature of business. That's all it is. At the moment, I'm surprised we're able to recruit anybody with the owners we have, with the dissension among the fans, the dissatisfaction the fans have with the owners. The general atmosphere around West Ham is kind of poisonous right now. I'm sorry, but it's true.
We're paying a cripple pretty hefty salary to do nothing. Right.
And not the first one either, right? I mean, Wilshire's not the first one. Yeah. Well, Carroll was on our books for a long time. We're still paying Winston Reed. Wilshire obviously has played like 3 times for us or something. If you go back to Kieran Dyer 8 or 10 years back, it was the same thing. I mean, listen, I love West Ham fans. The reason I'm a supporter of the club is because I love our fans. I think our fans are the greatest people in the world. So I'm not blaming the fans at all. What I'm saying is that you have a situation right now where the owners are under fire from the fans, and rightly so. But you have a situation where the fans are extremely dissatisfied with the stadium, the ownership, a lot of the players. I cannot imagine why an even sort of middling footballer would come to West Ham right now, other than just the opportunity to play in the Premier League, which I think is the only reason we get anybody.
You know what it's all down to? Why we're so unlucky, right? It's Bubbles. All the thoughts of that, Bubbles is a curse.
Bubbles is the truth.
My buddy Adam is right. We should change the words to Bubbles, and we should make it more positive, and sing a new song.
The problem with Bubbles is it's just...
When have any West Ham's been positive about anything? Come on.
Yeah.
We're good at 2 things. We're good at supporting the hard-working players, and we're good at moaning.
I do think... I wonder sometimes, and I don't know, because I don't spend time with other fans of other clubs on any regular basis. I don't watch their shows. I don't go on their message boards. I don't go on their social media. Do you think we're harder on our players than fans of other clubs are? I think we are, but then I'm insulated, so I don't know. Do you guys have any idea?
There's definitely there are players that we are hard on there, but then I think players like Declan Rice, we love Declan Rice because he's a great player. I don't think that he's overrated. I think that he does his job well, and I think that he's improving every time. But man, if you just look on Twitter, he is instant top 4 overrated players. If there's a thread and it says like top 4 overrated players, Declan Rice is one of them. And you ask why. You say, why is he overrated? And they can't tell you why. They say because he doesn't pass forward. We show them where he passes forward, and then they come up with something else that's not true.
They just don't want a good player to come from West Ham. That's what it boils down to. They're like, West Ham, shut the hell up. You know, you had the '66 World Cup team, and we've had to put up with that for the past 50-odd years. We don't want to hear it anymore about how great Declan Rice is. Well, all we want as fans, and I don't think it's too much to ask for, and I think most of the players will get it. And most of the players who are good players like Ginge, players like, you know, like Bonds, players like Mark Noble, that they understand that all we want as fans is for them to graft on the pitch. If they go out there and they put in a hard day's work, put in a shift, then guess what? A lot of stuff is forgivable. You don't have to be freaking Lionel Messi for us to worship you. You have to go out there and put in a hard day's graft, which is why everyone's pissing and moaning about Anderson right now, which is why everybody loves Declan Rice, because he goes out there and he gives 100%, which is why Noble is still going to be in the starting 11, because he goes out there and he gives it some.
But you know, Declan Rice.
Dwayne Garcia is going to be our starting right back next year.
Yeah.
But we haven't even seen what he's like going forward yet. I mean, the kid when he played for the under-23s, they said, and I was listening to the Jack Collison interview the other day, and he was talking about that kid is incredible going forward, and once he gets comfortable and they start letting him go forward down that right-hand side, he's going to be unbelievable. So, but he tries, and that's what we want. Tries. We've never had any time for lazy bastards, because
I agree with that.
It's not the East End way.
I think you're totally right. I think you're totally right. I mean, I agree with that. Listen, I wouldn't say Declan Rice is overrated. I do think sometimes we overrate Declan Rice. I think there are games he's had that have not been great, where we have been hesitant to say Declan wasn't at his best, because if you say something like that, man, people just, you know, they can't handle it. I mean, he's a great player, but he's young. He's 21. He makes mistakes. He does things he shouldn't do. He has games where he's not at his best. Everybody does. But you can't say that.
He's going to go up from here.
Like,
oh, I agree. Totally.
I mean, do you think we're going to hang on to him? That's the question.
Well, we're going to
if I was him, he started. Wouldn't it be great to go back to Chelsea and snub your nose at those people?
Here's the problem. His best buddy plays at Chelsea. We all know this.
He's not going to start at Chelsea. We know this. They're going to just bench him.
I don't know. If they spend $80 million on him, are they going to spend $80 million and put him on the bench? I mean, they might.
I don't think anyone's going to be spending that for the money this year. I mean, I don't think they got the money to spend it.
No.
So I think if you look at the salaries on transfer market right now, and they're all dropping a little bit.
I have no idea what this means. Wait, is that like an English expression I'm not understanding?
No, it isn't, mate. Trust me.
It just means.
Seriously, I think it looked more like a merchant banker.
What? I don't even know what that is.
A merchant banker.
A banker?
A merchant banker, yeah. Wouldn't you say so, Charlie boy?
My dad looks
more like a merchant banker.
My dad was a banker, you know. My dad was a banker. Now, I knew a pastry chef. All right, I knew a guy. He was from Cornwall. He's actually a really, really good friend, and he was a pastry chef in the Alps when he was younger. And then he and I lived together in, you know, France, and he's kind of been through some rough times recently. He's a really good dude, but he was a pastry chef. So I've known a pastry chef, but I've never been a pastry chef. Oh, this is true though. This is true. This is true. I do make a good pancake. Very solid. Very solid. So maybe that makes me a pastry chef. I don't know. This, however, wait, hang on. Who is Hagrid? I'm missing that. Who is that?
Hagrid. Harry Potter, mate.
Oh, I've never read Harry Potter. Okay, that makes total sense.
You know, it's a bit of dragon he does. It's a little furry things he does. And
is he the one who is
furry things, don't you, Harry?
Is he the one who supports West Ham? There's one of them is a West Ham fan in Harry Potter. Is that him?
Well, I don't know if it be him or not. I'm trying to think who the West Ham fan was.
One of you kids tell me. But you read it, Wade? You read Harry Potter?
Yeah, I'm reading it to my daughter right now at night time.
Oh, well, my boys have been listening on Audible, but I don't know. They don't really.
Instead of me reading it.
they're more into dragons. Isaac is more into dragons than
That's too funny because that you sort of lagged a little bit there when you said that, and it sounded like your boys were into drag.
Well, that's another great English tradition. So, yeah. So we're listen. It's quarantine, man. I mean, stuff's gonna happen. You know? We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about what happens in quarantine.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
they're back onto the Arnie thing.
Yes.
Do you really think he's going to take him? Because Moyes has said that he's looking for youth.
He's not coming back. Of course, he's not coming back.
Rumors right now that he's looking at some Werder Bremen kid who's like 23 years of age.
Yeah, and he's looking at the French league, which is a great place to look for young players.
So I would rather see something like that.
Listen, I mean, Moyes won't take him back. It's not going to happen. It was just a topic. It was just a topic of conversation for this endless period without football, and when we have so little to talk about. I would take him back, and so and I knew it'd be a good argument to have. So. But he's not coming back. He's not coming back to English football. Nobody wants him now. He's 30. He's got a bad attitude. Everybody knows it. He's not coming back.
But whatever. I'll still take him back.
I didn't hear you. Say it again. Sorry.
Yeah, he's a man child. I'll still take him back.
I think we should get Arnautovic and Balotelli as our strike partnership up front.
We were all red hot on the Balotelli, weren't we, Lee?
Oh yes, I'd still have him. I'd have him right now. Arnie and Balotelli.
So I'm going to skip passing judgment on it right now because, he hasn't played. I haven't seen him play in a while. I don't know what he's been doing.
Doesn't matter. I don't care.
You just want that funky haircut, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah. I think we should play 3 up front and get Ibrahimovic in there as the third, and just concede.
What about getting Sacco back? Sacco's without a club right now.
Sacco is a good player for us, actually. He was a really good player for us. I thought he was. Who was the one who left? Who went to Hull because he wanted to play for a bigger club?
Was it Yellow?
No, it was. It wasn't Coyote, was it?
No, he went to Palace.
Who was the guy who went to Hull? I'm trying to think of who it was. And he was. Do what?
Come on, chat room.
Good, Charlie. Wake up, mate.
Somebody out there tell me. Somebody out there in the chat room tell me.
Diame, that's it.
Diame, that's who it was. It was Mo Diame. That's who it was.
John.
Yeah, it was Mo Diame who went to Hull to play for a bigger club, and then they got relegated. He was a good player though too. I thought he was a really good player for us.
But we got good out of a lot of players. We got good out of a lot of players that really were fantastic players.
Yeah.
Sacco was a good player. You know who else was a decent player? Enter Valencia was not a bad player. He was okay.
He was okay.
I was upset when we lost Diamante.
Nah.
He wasn't. I agree, Josh. He wasn't great. I'm not saying he was great, but he wasn't bad.
No,
I mean, look at our strikers recently.
Yeah. Zaza, Carroll. Actually, I think Carroll was better than Enter, but
he was better. He never played.
Yeah.
I mean, Cagliari, Andre.
I forgot about Cagliari.
Oh my gosh.
Andre Ayew wasn't really that bad a player. We just
didn't hate Ayew.
No, I didn't hate him either. He actually scored a couple of big goals for us, but we just haven't had a consistent striker in a long time.
I'm a fan of Moyes.
Name the last one we had. A striker, not a winger. Turned striker.
Dean Ashton.
What happened to him, bless him?
Huh?
What happened to him?
Yeah, no, okay. I love Carlton Cole. I will always love Carlton Cole.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not going to pretend he's a world-class player. All right, he wasn't a world-class player. I just love him. Dean, at last proper sort of England level, because he did get his injury playing for England. Last proper sort of international level striker we had, I think, was Dean Ashton. That's going on 15 years ago now, right?
I mean,
12 years ago.
Yeah.
You could have said at the beginning of the season that Haller was up there with the way he was playing. His form dropped massively. I think that at the beginning of the season, though, there was arguments that he could get in the French squad.
I think he had the quality, yeah. I just don't think he wants to put out the effort.
I just wonder why he switched off. What did we do different that he just switched off? Or did people just realize we're a little two-dimensional right now and he was the only person we could go to? So as soon as they double-teamed him, he was done. And he was like, I don't want to fight against this every single match. two people knocking me around and bruised me ankles. Maybe he's too much of a lightweight for the Premier League.
I do
Even
wonder
though he's
about
a big,
that.
big fella. Maybe he just doesn't like being bullied.
I do wonder about that. Those guys come from. They come from. And the Bundesliga is not exactly like a snowflake league, I don't think.
No, that's what's surprising about it.
I mean, if he'd come from Italy, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
If he'd come from someplace like France, maybe. But the Bundesliga to me is relatively physical. But yeah, guys get into the Premier League, they can't handle it. And they can't handle the physicality of it, and then they don't think it's like proper
physicality
football.
with speed, isn't it? It's both.
It's both. Yeah, it is. It's both. But they can't handle it, and they. I just feel as though he gave up, and I realize he didn't. He also didn't have great service. I understand that. I get that. Everybody knows that, but he didn't put out the effort. Too many times he didn't put out the effort. For me.
Did anybody hear the Ginger Collins interview on the West Ham way the other week?
No, I did not hear it.
No, I didn't catch it.
I tell you what, if I hate like pushing somebody else's podcast other than my own, but it was absolutely brilliant, and it was brilliant because
you have a podcast.
The West Ham way. So it's yeah. Oh no, what my podcast? Yeah, you know I'm not going to say anything. I've already aggravated him once already. So. But,
all right. Yeah. Sure. No, I did not hear it. I didn't. What did he say? Hey, Lily.
Lily, say hello to everybody.
Hi, Lily.
Something with less hair than Daddy, Lily. Okay, go get in bed. Yeah, go on, get out of here. Go on, skip it.
It's 9 o'clock at night. You got school tomorrow. Oh, wait.
Oh, she's got school tomorrow, yeah, but her teacher's a bit of a drunk.
Her teacher won't be able.
You could go in there and figure out what you want to talk about.
Hey, Wayne, is she getting a little Texas accent? Is she really?
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Oh, that's fantastic. You got a little Texan. That's wonderful. Is your wife from Texas?
No, she's originally from Chicago.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Be a good girl for mommy.
Every day I fight against my boys ended up with Boston accents. I just can't let it happen.
It's going to happen, mate. It's going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
But no, anyway, back to that. Ginge is just such a great person, and it was a wonderful interview, just hearing his take on things. And what was really interesting was his take on players that had deserted us, like Payet and Arnautovic. It was a really good podcast episode. I mean, they put out a great episode. Once you get used to listening to how the funny way that X talks, it's actually a damn good podcast. I mean, I listen to it all the time. But,
what did he say? I mean, what stuck out to you that he said?
You know, I would say something, but I'm going to say to people, go check it out because it's just so brilliant. He basically, what really got to me is the fact that how he actually thought that Sullivan and Gold had done a decent job with the team since they've taken it. Now, if you're talking about, there's an unpopular opinion for you.
That's an unpopular opinion, but he would know better than we would, supposedly, right? I mean,
Plus, he was talking about how Payet was such a great man in the dressing room that first year, and then when he came back from the Euros, how he was. It just seemed like somebody had spoken in his ear, and he the money and the flash and the fame had kind of turned his head a little bit.
I can believe that. Yeah,
listen,
that can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, that can happen to anybody.
But it's definitely worth a listening. You know, if you've got an hour to spare. Who doesn't have an hour to spare these days? go download the West Ham Way podcast and have a listen to a couple of episodes. And when you've done that and you're bored with that because it's all football, go download my podcast.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to that eventually. That's yeah. I've actually been busier. I think I've been busier at home than I was before all this started. I mean, no, because I've got my job has been keeping me very busy, but also, which I'm glad to have, right? Extremely glad to have. But just like having the boys at home all the time, I mean, I love them, but it's exhausting, man. It really is. You know,
my issue is trying to juggle working. I've taken a new position of work as I work in retail.
Yeah,
trying to juggle the new things that I'm learning with learning how to teach my daughter the things she should be learning, but I have to learn them first.
Yeah, no, I'm lucky to have my wife, and I'm lucky to have my mom who lives with us, who was a teacher for many years.
Yeah.
They're really handling the homeschool. I really have had very little to do with it
You're
because
lucky.
I've got a new job that's kept me, very busy. But I mean, at the same time, we're kind of all in it together. We have to plan things together, and it's been. Whoops! Wait a minute, wrong one. Yeah, I mean, it's accurate up to the word biker. I don't think I could even balance myself on a motorcycle if I had to.
I've got hairy ears, Rebecca.
I do too, actually. You can't see them, but they're there.
Well, there's no hair on Lee's head. It all grows from his ears and his nose.
That's right. It goes. You know what? It grows up the back, and over the head. That's how it works.
Yeah, man, you guys got it going with your families and stuff. Mine's out in Hawaii.
I'm so sorry, mate.
Rob, listen, I am not complaining at all because I'm so happy to be with my wife and my boys and my mom for that matter through all this and not by myself. I'm so happy about it that please don't take this as complaining because it's really
no. Don't take it the wrong way. Like I'm
with you.
I'm supposed to be moving to Japan. I've moved my packing out date 5 times now.
Oh, God.
See, that's just and the uncertainty of it is see, Rebecca knows. She knows about my breakfast. She knows. The uncertainty of it is, I think, what's so hard. And we talk about it from a football perspective, but from a life perspective, it's obviously much more, it's much more serious. Yeah, it's much more serious. So I do feel for you. I do. And everybody in your situation and everybody, everybody who's not in an ideal quarantine situation. Mine couldn't be much better, in all honesty. I mean, it's fine.
If there's any listeners out there that are in the San Diego area that want to bring me a home cooked meal, please. This hotel living's not fun.
Where are you staying? Which hotel are you in, Rob? Do you mind telling us?
On the naval base. It's called Navy Lodge. So
okay.
Yeah.
So anybody in San Diego who would like to drop a meal off at the door of Navy Lodge, tell them it's for Rob. Put put the crossed hammers on it. Yeah, I think that would be very nice. If I could send you a home cooked meal, I would do that. But it's about how far away are we? 2,500 miles. I'm not sure we'd get there in very good shape, unfortunately.
There is a group in San Diego, isn't there? But they're not very active any longer.
No, I don't think they are either. There's a
I think you're in PB. I want to go check them out, but matches and no one was there.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, that's the sole definition. They're not very active, right? They're not there.
There's a big group. There's a big group in L.A. 2 big groups in L.A. There's Hollywood and there's L.A. But that's still a ways from you. That's like an hour or 2 hours.
I'm telling you, man, I spent those last 4 years on board the ship having to listen to the matches. And I'm like, January, cool. I get to start watching them live, and then I'm like. Yeah, my luck.
Are you stationed there, Rob? And I don't mean to cross any lines here. Are you stationed there because of the whole COVID thing, or?
Yeah, I'm in training for my next job.
Gotcha.
And it just happened to fall in line with me moving. And
oh gosh, well, listen, thanks for your service, mate. We all appreciate that for definite.
Yeah,
we do. and I will tell you, since he mentioned it, and I should have mentioned this before. Ken makes a tremendous breakfast. And I am not joking about this. You go to his house for a match, you're going to be treated. You're going to get the full English, plus some other stuff. You get eggs. You're going to get bacon. You're going to get toast. You're going to get
a proper
whatever you want.
Fried slice, Ken. Did you get a fried slice?
What's that? I'm not sure if I know.
Slice of fried bread.
Not sure he's done that, but
not this namby-pamby toast crap.
No.
I'm talking about a good slice of bread.
I'm talking about
lobbed in a fat and fried until it's crispy brown.
His breakfast is probably more southern than English because you're getting eggs, bacon, sausage, all your essential pig meats. You're getting
mushrooms.
Sometimes, yeah.
Blood sausage.
Last time I took my boys up there, they were just blown away by it. And every time I say now. Oh, we're going to Kent's house. You want to watch West Ham at Kent's house? Is he going to have breakfast?
I miss that so much. I miss that being home more than anything else in the world. Even more than West Ham, I miss my fry up.
I watched
interview.
and I tried the peanut butter toast with egg on it, and it was pretty.
It's good.
Yeah.
Peanut butter toast with egg. Yeah, you tried it.
Yeah.
Who said that was Jarvis? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Matt. I watched it.
That was Matt Jarvis who said that. Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds repulsive.
It's not bad. It's just proteins, right? It's just two different proteins. Like it's
I just don't like peanut butter.
You don't like peanut butter?
No.
That's because you're a communist.
Socialist, let's get it right.
That's because you're. You know what? That's because you're not American, but you're actually not American.
Breakfast for me has got to be eggs, bacon, sausage, beans, mushrooms, black and white pudding, fried slice, and wash it down with a nice mug of strong tea, sweet tea. And I'm not talking about sweet tea as in like as it is over here in America. I'm talking about a mug of hot, boiling hot brewed brown tea, not this insipid like tan colour tea that people make over here.
But sugar and tea.
One that you can stand a freaking spoon up in with a 2 to 3 spoonsful of sugars in it. Stir it up.
Sugar and tea is
Put it all
gross.
down the throat.
I'm a proper American. The only way we make tea is by throwing it into a harbor.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
We've been coming over and stealing your jobs and your women ever since.
Really?
I have.
Oh, you have, okay. I was like, I don't really notice that. Yeah, well, let me tell you something, my friend. We don't have a queen here. No, sir. Although I kind of like the queens. I think the notion of royalty is kind of stupid, but her as a person, I actually sort of like her. I do. I think she's a good figurehead. And she's a hammer.
Don't get me on politics, Lee.
No, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to talk politics. I'll never do that ever.
That's what you have to do.
Except to call you a except to call you a
You can call me a commie. I don't have a problem with it.
Well, listen, that's my shtick is to call everybody because when I was growing up, like the worst thing you could be was a communist, right? Because I grew up in the 80s. It's international. It's actually a pretty stirring tune. But when I was growing up in Texas in the 80s, the worst thing you could be was a communist. Well, almost the worst thing. And so I'm always calling people communists because it's sort of irrelevant now. You know, it's like not a real insult anymore.
You're either a Southern Republican or you're a communist in Texas. There is no middle ground. They don't recognize anybody else.
Well, I'm not going to respond to that. All I'm saying is that when I used to make jokes about people being communists, my 20-something coworkers thought it was hilarious for some reason. They just thought that was the funniest thing, you know. So anyway. But you're not going to drag me into an argument. No.
Yeah, I've got my Lily made something for you, Lee.
Did she? Oh, that's awesome.
That's for me.
Oh, Lily, you're breaking my heart.
That's Lee's fault. Sweet. Lee told me to move it like that. So
She can't hear. That's not fair. You got those headphones on. She can't hear what I'm saying. You can't. No, that's not cool. You can't do that.
I'm prepared for anything here in the office.
Oh, you got the wipes? Mm-hmm. Oh, those are the surface wipes. Well, you do what you got to do, Wayne.
This will go for a lot when the world collapses.
I was gonna say listen. You better ration those things, man. You better ration those things because when the apocalypse comes and there are no more wipes, people are gonna you're gonna be able to get some serious coin for those wipes on, on eBay or wherever people sell stuff like that.
My mom's making me learn how to make wipes.
Make wipes? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Is that like making meth? Is it legal? Does it blow up your house?
I don't know. I can't say. I can't say much.
You do live in the Midwest, so I figured.
Yeah. You know.
You must know something about meth. I mean,
there's not much to do here. You can either make wipes or get addicted to meth.
You can keep your meth making area clean and sanitized with the wipes, so you don't blow up your house. You don't blow up your meth house.
System. We use the meth.
How's Marco and Ahtv?
How do you do it?
You use the meth to make the wipes, and then you can use the wipes to clean your meth stick. It's a recycle thing.
That makes sense. You end up looking like one of the husbands on Tiger King.
Still haven't watched it.
Oh, you should. You know what? It's really. If you think about Tiger King, is like the first 2 episodes are funny and kind of engaging
But
and weird. But then it gets so dark after that.
I almost brought myself to watch it this weekend because American Hammers TV wasn't doing anything this weekend. So it's just
I was Easter. Yes, I was respectfully celebrating. It's kind of true though. I did. We had an Easter. We had a nice Easter. So yeah, we didn't do anything. But yes, I know we were not here on Sunday, and it was a lonely and long day. And but the thing about Tiger King is like I kind of felt dirty after watching the whole series. Like when I finished it, I thought, I don't think I should have watched this. It's kind of voyeuristic. But the first 2 episodes, they suck you in, and you got to know what's going to happen after that. You know, I mean, it's.
Well, yeah.
They're coming out with new episodes. Apparently, it was such a big hit.
They came out with a reunion episode, which I have not watched, because at the end, the story ends in like January. I mean, so it's a reunion from the last like 3 months. It just doesn't seem, But the whole thing is sordid, like you wouldn't believe, and I mean, let's face it, it takes place in Oklahoma and Florida. That's really all you need to know.
One of these things is not like the others.
Josh is like a younger version of me, which should terrify him.
Oh no!
You know what's scary about this whole crisis?
No slander on the TV. Come on.
Do you like my new glasses, Lee? Mine broke, so I'm wearing my wife's now.
You look like Dave Edna.
Hello, David, the reference here. Hello, Possum. How are you? Hello, darling.
Well, this is a new look for the show. Where's Charlie at?
You look like a proper naval aviator in those things. You should be flying a helicopter in those things.
Ever since Charlie now, double sunglasses, I'm like, it's got to be it.
Those are pretty awesome, I got to say. Wayne, put them back on for a minute and show Wayne, because we're just going to get a contrast here between, Rob.
Oh, I love those.
Who serves in the U.S. Navy, and Wayne with his Dave Edna glasses. And you're being attacked by his daughter. Yeah, you should totally be flying a helicopter in those things. I think you have to fly a helicopter if you wear those.
No, I'm good. Have you been in a helicopter? I've landed one on a rocking ship in heavy seas. not a fun landing.
Have you? Really?
Wow.
Yeah, okay. Well, I haven't done anything like that. But I'll tell you what, I've done a lot of webcasts with Wayne, and it's just about as scary. It's a pretty similar experience. Landing a helicopter on a ship with rocky seas, or like listening to him for an hour.
Who, me?
Of course you.
West Ham is why we drink podcast. It's westhamswhywedrink.com.
All right. Yeah. Okay. It is well past 10 o'clock.
Here's the thing for American Hammers TV. My daughter is going to put lipstick on me so I look more like Dame Edna.
Well, we have to watch that. Okay, let's do that. Frankly, I have nothing else to do. I can stay here for quite a while.
So I did read. Was it what's her name? Kate Beckham. Like her new clothing line looked like a West Ham kit, and they were just giving her shit on social media.
Oh, really? Oh, you mean Beckham's wife?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, Victoria Beckham?
Is that her?
Yeah, there we go.
Victoria?
Yeah.
It looks like a West Ham kit, really?
Like, yeah, she made a $500 sweater, and it looked like a West Ham kit. Completely, like, people were trashing her on social media about it. Like,
I need to see this. I didn't know about this.
Oh wow! Oh, it does. Oh wow!
Wait. Can you pull it up? Can you pull it up and put it on the screen?
Let me share my screen real quick.
Sure. Do you know how to do that, or can you do that? I don't know if you can do that or not. I never know what StreamYard is capable of. It's kind of weird.
My screen's below. Can you pull it up? Is it?
Oh.
Now mine's in the way. He's going to put mine up first.
No. Here we go. All right. Oh my god, that is amazing!
Oh my gosh,
It looks like something that Bobby
amazing.
Moore played.
that's brilliant.
I love that. I want one. I will purchase that. I want.
Is
to
this
make
from
this
a
purchase.
football line?
It's like $550 or something like that. You sure you want one?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's
This,
49
that's
quid.
I thought that $49 a month is for internet. Okay,
Oh.
I was like, it's $49 a month. It's $40 a month.
Oh yeah, no.
You get like your
I'd buy
sweater
that for
by the month?
myself.
That is, I am telling you right now that I would wear that sweater, and I'm not joking about this.
I could probably go to my closet and cut up some old kits and make a sweater just like that.
That is magnificent. I mean, it's beautiful. It's legitimately beautiful.
It's
I
gorgeous.
want that. I want that to be our kit next season.
And yeah, for Tone in the chat room, yeah, that's our new kit right there.
That's our new kit. Yeah.
And that's our new striker.
Yeah, that's our new striker. No, our new striker is Marko Arnautovic, as you know already.
He's
I'm
coming
going
on.
to have to leave you, mate. It's getting late.
What's that?
I said I'm going to have to leave you, mate.
I know. Well, you know what? We should all go. We got to go. Everybody's still rocking in the chat room and everything's still going, but it is getting late. I am very sleepy. All this staying at home is exhausting. Anyway, so Rob, listen, come back anytime you want. Come back again soon. Rob in San Diego, currently in San Diego. Josh, are you in Missouri?
No, I'm in Kansas.
You're in Kansas. Oh, Lawrence. You said Lawrence. That's right. Lawrence.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah,
No,
Josh.
you're
Down. Where actually? What's the town you're actually in? What's the name of the town you're in?
It's called Baldwin City.
Okay, and it's close to Lawrence.
Yeah, if you go to the middle of nowhere and take a left, that's where Baldwin is. It's where Baker University is, if that helps.
If you try, go to Washington, Kansas. If you've never seen middle of nowhere until you've been to Washington, Kansas,
Okay,
that is shocking. That is shocking. My wife lived there for a couple of years in middle school. That is shocking. Anyway,
okay.
so Josh, in one of my favorite places, Kansas. I do love Kansas, genuinely. And of course, Dame Edna in Dallas.
He's hibernated there, migrated there. Migrated there from good old sunny Sydney many years ago. Me and my helper Rose. Rose, give me a cup of tea, please. Thank you. Thank you, Possums. It's been lovely being here with you, Possums.
Okay, so yes, thank you, Dame Edna, and thank you, Lily, our true star, the true star. Everybody in the chat room, hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up in the middle of a pandemic when there hasn't been football for a month and watching us anyway. Can't tell you how much we appreciate that. Go to our website and buy something, or tell us if you want to be on the show. And in the meantime, solidarity and come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.
On you Irons. Yeah, there it is.